Hello everyone, my name's Nathan, and today I'm bringing you my first impressions of a new game that's just come out on Steam called Rive. Now, the eagle-eyed viewer out there will have noticed that the review embargo down at the bottom of the screen was the 13th of September, and the real brainiacs out there will have noticed that this is after the 13th of September. So, despite having access to this game for over a month, I still didn't get my video out on time because I'm very poorly organised, and also because the game has a few issues that we'll talk about in a bit. But, on the plus side, this game is now available to buy, so if you like what you see in this video, you can go out and get it straight away. So anyway, let's get straight into this. What is Rive? Well, you'll notice that the only option I have here is hard mode, and that gives you some indication as to what the game is like. It's very punishing, so I'm going to select an early mission just so that I don't show you me dying over and over again. Let's do mission 2, Into the Weeds. Now, Rive is from a company called 2 Tribes, who you probably won't have heard of, because I know I certainly hadn't before this. And we appear to be in anti-gravity. That is not the case for every mission. It is a twin-stick shooter on a 2D plane. And while what you see here might be fairly easy, it does ease you in a bit at the start of the game. Later on, things get drastically more challenging. Now, there are some issues in terms of that. A lot of the enemies are basically the same thing. They will just charge at you and explode if they get near you. These ones I'm fighting at the moment, okay. I wasn't expecting that as an environmental thing, which I'm not sure I had any warning about, other than the fact I've already played this mission, so I probably should have remembered. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, the enemies, they tend to just charge at you and explode on impact. They don't have guns or anything like that, so there's not a great deal of variation in them, which is a little bit disappointing. Fortunately though, the only boss I've faced up to this point, I've put about an hour and a half into the game, the only boss I've faced up till this point was considerably more interesting. He released a load of little mini-bots at me, I think he shot stuff at me, I was too busy trying to avoid other stuff, because he also created environmental hazards. Such as, I think on that occasion it was massive lava waves coming at me that I had to jump while trying to shoot him and avoid the other minions that he created. Very interesting, very cool design, and the look of this game really aids that as well. It's not beautiful, but it's quite a nice style it's got going on here. There's a lot of robotic sort of stuff happening, but it's all well animated and it looks really nice. Now, it has reset my controls again. It has a tendency to do this. I find that for the platforming of this game, because there is some platforming involved, you're much better having jump mapped to spacebar, because up as W and jump as W doesn't seem to make sense. I just find it a lot easier when jump is space. Don't know whether that's just being 90s. I still can't get up there. I'm making myself look an idiot. Anyway. And it does tend to reset those controls quite a lot. I haven't tried playing this on a controller, although I can only imagine that as a twin-stick shooter it would be absolutely fine. But it works perfectly well on mouse and keyboard, and if you're gonna buy this game on PC, well, you're probably gonna play it on mouse and keyboard. I do believe it's also out on PS4 though, so one would think that the controls for a controller, if that makes sense, would be fairly well optimized as well. Now, as I was saying, here we go. Some enemies that are actually alive and going to try and kill me. They do just have this thing about flying at you, and you have unlimited ammo, so you can basically just spam down range until everything is dead. The main way the game tries to kill you, if you're not useless like me apparently, is just sending so many at you at once that you can't deal with them by just shooting at them. You do get special weapons. I was just about to show you special weapons. Okay. Down at the bottom of the screen here, you'll notice I currently have missiles, which do this. And that was a waste, but there you go. Demonstration purposes. And you can get a lot of other upgrades as well. I haven't actually tested any of them out yet, but I would imagine they're very similar. Like other weapons coming through and stuff like that. And it's nice to have that level of variety. Let's see what's in this box. Oh, more missiles. Good. Kill these bats. The bats don't seem to do much, actually. Let's just try and get that. There we go. It is quite... Oh, shit. It is quite difficult to platform precisely in this game, and that might be due to the fact it's with a keyboard and mouse, but it could also just be due to the fact that I'm pretty poor at precise controls. Now, as I was saying, this game is quite unforgiving. Enemies will just fly at you, yes, but it is actually quite difficult to ignore all of them, to avoid all of them. Fortunately though, because I would get bored of this otherwise, fortunately the checkpoints are very forgiving. If I just die now, just to show you as an example of where it'll spawn me back, hopefully this will prove my point. Yeah, it spawns me back almost in the same place. So, it's not too frustrating if you die. I didn't mean to die that time. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, I did, yeah. So it's not too frustrating if you die. You just get to retry almost immediately again. Now, for me, that's fantastic. I'm the guy who gets sick and tired of Dark Souls because I don't have the patience for it, and I don't really have the time for it either, I don't find. So, having a difficult game that you still get the satisfaction from beating a big boss from, but it allows you to retry almost as many times as you want, is actually quite a nice change-up for me. I'll try and beat these things back. And also, this is a nice little thing. You get environmental hazards as well as just big enemies coming at you. Now, hopefully we can rest here for a second. I would still like to see more variety in the enemies, though. Generally, I mean, what are these things? Are these even a threat? Not really. I can't really die to them unless I'm incredibly incompetent or just not paying attention. The only things that really have threatened me up to this point are the things that fly at me and explode. And, to be honest, they're not really a well-designed enemy. There's no AI involved in that as such, it's just go to this point and die, effectively. Now, that's about does it for gameplay, to be honest. It is a twin-stick shooter there's quite punishing elements and enemies that aren't that interesting, although the bosses are much more challenging. So, with that type of game, obviously you need quite tight controls, because there is a level of platforming in this game that you need to be able to do, and you need to be able to avoid things coming at you very quickly. So the controls have to be tight, and I have to say, so far, I have found them to be superb. Although, as I said before, it will remap over and over again, something that you've changed to an old button, which is quite annoying, and I really would recommend that if you do play this on keyboard, remap, jump to the space key instead of W. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit slower, it's quite difficult to avoid these things and stay alive. Although you will notice I'm just holding down fire because there's no incentive not to. What I will say though, is that, like I said, I've had this game for over a month now and been trying it out. I tried it out initially when I first got access to it, and it felt like crap. It really did. And I don't know whether it's just perception or not, but it feels completely different now. Initially it felt way faster. Faster to the point where you couldn't possibly control precise jumping and the platforming that you needed to do to get through the missions. Now though, it seems to have been slowed down to a level where it is reasonable that you should be able to beat this thing. And if you have got the patience to keep on dying and keep retrying the same missions, you will get through it. I will say there have been some bits that have annoyed me so far. There was a particularly dickish part of the game where it sent lava at me, and in order to escape that lava, sorry that was my terrible controls again, in order to escape that lava you just had to run, but you had to memorise the path that you had to run down, and make sure you didn't hit anything along the way, and that took me a good 10 to 15 tries, and I have to say I was really getting bored of that by the end of it. It really wasn't a great deal of fun. Usually in these types of games, they are punishing and it is satisfying to beat a section, but for me at least, the maximum amount of time I can put up with doing the same thing over and over again is maybe 4 or 5? Maybe 10 if it's really, really intense and it's clearly a boss battle. Now this I like, I've done this before. Basically on a big conveyor belt, and the only way to move forward is to jump, and I forgot I have to kill these things too. I'm gonna die. Fine, whatever. Let's talk a little bit about the look of the game. I know I've talked a little tiny bit about it before, but you'll notice quite solid animation quality here. Nothing special. It's clearly not a AAA game. There's no reflections going on or incredible lighting or anything like that. But it's certainly not an ugly game. It's not something that you turn on and think, well, at least the gameplay's tight because this thing looks bad. The game has a certain level of charm, and the characters involved certainly add to that. The characters don't have any animation to them, it's just a face that pops up, but it's well voice acted for the most part, even if even if the robot is an incredibly annoying character. There isn't too much in the way of story, to be honest with you. I won't spoil it just in case, but you don't want to be playing this game because you want a long, interesting narrative. It is all about killing stuff that flies at you. That is effectively the entire game. So, overall, the way I describe the look of this one is not stunning, but well polished. I don't know why I had to scratch my nose there. That's why. We're gonna die. Okay. And I was right, we died. Okay. So, coming down to some sort of conclusion, well, you should probably do performance before that, in fairness. There's not a great deal to say here. It runs at a solid 60 frames per second on PC. I couldn't possibly comment on the PS4 performance because I don't have that version of the game. But for PC, no real performance issues other than the massive one, which is what caused me to get this video out late, partially. In that, the game hard crashes my entire PC occasionally when I come out of it. And in the past, when I tried to record this video, when I tried to get it out for launch day, it completely shut down Windows when I came out of it. My recording was gone, my audio was gone, although I think I could have recovered audio, but the recording was just absolutely dead. Shadowplay had not saved this at all, because the entire computer just went and it completely corrupted the footage. Now, that could be because this is a press build. This isn't the actual release of the game. This is the early access thing that they gave out, and I don't think I have access to every level in the game, but that's fine because I didn't need it for this video. But possibly that issue has been resolved in the full release, but I can't imagine they'd have pushed an update that solved that to the full release that they wouldn't have pushed to the press release. It doesn't make sense. So that could still be an issue. Now, I certainly hope it isn't, because it is something that can potentially ruin a game like this, which is perfectly solid otherwise. It's a decent amount of fun, and if you're a mechanically driven gamer, I think we just beat that level, wow. If you're a mechanically driven gamer, it's something that you might well be interested in. It is absolutely solid. There's no incredible thing about it, there's nothing that really sets it apart, but it's a lot of fun to just shoot things, and it does it well. What it sets out to do, it does well. Now, as I say, if that hard crash thing isn't in the full game, then I really wouldn't have too much of an issue recommending it, because it is a decent amount of fun, and the final price tag for this one is £10.99. I think that at the moment there's a 15% sale on Steam until maybe the 27th of September, I think I read, and that will get it down to about £9. Just for reference, in dollars, I would imagine that's something around the region of $7? I have no idea, I don't have the number in front of me, but that would be my guess. So, if you think this game looks worth that, and if you're willing to take the risk of a hard crash, I suppose the good thing is, at least with Steam refunds, if it does do that to your computer, you have got a way of getting your money back. And, you know, no harm done really, because at least when my computer did load up again, it didn't have any issues that carried over. So it might be worth a look. Personally, I would say maybe wait for a sale. It's certainly not a bad price point at £10.99, but it doesn't do anything stunning. I'll see if, I think this is where you buy upgrades, just to show you what's available. No, it isn't. Okay. Well, I was wrong. But as I was saying, yeah, if you want to, if you like the look of what you've seen here, for £10.99 it's not too bad. Certainly though, if it came down in a sale to £5, something like that, I would definitely have no problem recommending it, assuming those hard crash issues had gone. So anyway, I think that's about it for this video. Other than to say, I am going to start doing much more of this sort of stuff. I've been slacking off recently. Was I supposed to go down here? Ah, maybe I was. Ah, I think this is where you get upgrades, come on. Yes, right, we'll just show you this before we go. So, the Falcon attack let 1,000 guided missiles bloom, or, well, 7. Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't seem like 1,000. For some reason this is not mouse controlled, by the way, very odd. But just a few sort of things you can get. Bouncy bombs, destructive short-range shotgun, and if you're like me, you need the armor upgrade, because a lot of stuff hits you in this game, so you can, there is some form of progression in the game, something more to do, and it doesn't necessarily need it, but it's nice that it's there. But anyway, that's about it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, I'd be very appreciative of a like down below. Let me know what you think of Rive down in the comments if you've played it, or if you just tell me what you think of the look of it on here. And subscribe for more like this if you haven't already. I've been Nathan, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.